Hi, Charlie. I'm super
Hi.
excited to be here with you today. And I'm excited to talk about one of my favorite topics, money and VC. But before we get started, I thought it might be helpful. How does your experience influence your approach to venture capital investing?
Okay, that's kind of a complex question. Well, let's just start with the fact that I come from the world of big data. I started my career on huge generational projects like the International Space Station and the Human Genome Project, and that is a place where data drove all of the decision. Data also drove decision making and decision analytics throughout my entire career in various sectors, from emerging, management of like alternative energies to finance, or more specifically, mergers and acquisitions and private equity, where I played. And um, and then at some point I caught the entrepreneurial bug and started a number of companies, the last of which has become a unicorn. So honestly, my experience going in front of venture capitalists as a woman of color was far from good. And I would say that if you told me that I was going to be a venture capitalist just like 2 years ago, I would have probably laughed in your face. So I came in with a lot of naivety, I guess. I never thought very much about it. But when I did eventually come in here, it really was as a way to change the landscape, because my experience wasn't great. I wanted to make sure that it's different for the people that come after me. And I did come in with some preconceived notions because of my experience. I totally assumed that data and decision analytics drove all of the decision, or most of the decision, in venture capital, and that turns out not to be the case.
Wait. You mean to tell me that venture capitalists who are investing in data technology and AI are not using data and decision analysts in their
Oh yeah,
investment decisions?
isn't that crazy? That's not super surprising. So I'm actually writing a book on the venture capital industry, and I've talked with hundreds of venture capitalists at this point. And I would estimate that less than 40% of them are actually using any sort of financial analysis beyond just looking at performas. And less than 10% of them are using big data and computational analytics. Um,
So
I
how are
know.
the investment decisions actually getting made? How are investments decisions commonly made in venture capital?
Well, traditionally, I mean, I would say a huge portion of venture capitalists who are considered traditional venture capitalists would openly admit that they rely on gut instinct to make most of their calls for investments. They really pride themselves on being good pickers, and they fail to understand that a lot of the success comes from just volume and luck. I mean, statistically, if you think about it, if you invest enough, you're going to get a winner at some point. And the other really interesting thing that I've learned is that humans, like most animals, do not like the unknown. So there's really a tendency to pick things that are very similar to each other. And this environment creates a lot of biases. It really leaves a lot on the table.
Separating the diversification aspect of it, in portfolio theory itself, bias is known to create investment opportunities.
Right.
It seems obvious to me that data can be used to recognize the returns created from those biases. So why isn't that happening?
I mean, to be fair, it is actually happening, but there, in the traditional side of the space, there isn't a huge appetite for it, because in traditional venture capital, people who think themselves as good pickers aren't emotionally incentivized to explore how their magic could be replicated by machines. However, there is a whole new generation of venture capitalists who are coming on the scene, who are definitely using data analytics and AI to drive investments. And at the end of the day, I love to say that they're basically playing Moneyball.
So what is Moneyball investing?
Well, if you watch the TV, I mean the movie, you would kind of get a gut sense for it. But basically the concept is that in any complex system, it's impossible to have homogeneity. And systems themselves are lumpy, and there are areas of incredible opportunities. So the concept of Moneyball is that there are highly valuable assets, whether or not it's baseball players or companies, that are being undervalued because of something about them makes the investor overlooks them. in the case of companies, it would be something as benign as the founder's gender or race or geography. I mean, the middle of the country gets almost no venture capital.
Oh, goodness. So if I want to apply Moneyball, how does it apply to venture capital and how does it apply to you as an investor?
Sure, yeah. So there are actually multiple levels of playing Moneyball. It's kind of like a game, right? The easiest way is what I call level one. Just pick a space where there is underinvestment. So gender, for example, is a really good place. Almost like the perfect Moneyball playing field, because less than 2% of all venture capital goes to women founders, and women as a class receives 84% lower valuation at the onset, but they return 35% more upon exit compared to their male peers. It's crazy. People always love saying, I mean, it's easier to find unicorns when you're uncrowded by hunters. So this is like a great place to play this game of looking for unicorns because not a lot of people are hunting for them. And of course, you shouldn't just blindly invest in a class of founders. I mean, the next level of playing Moneyball is to use data visualization and statistics to drive even more visibility, to find truly high value assets that others are missing. And to take it the next level up is to leverage big data and AI to pick the winners.
So let's cut to the chase. What's the key takeaway for anyone looking to make money in venture?
Oh, I love that you just like go right for the kill. So Moneyball is essentially an arbitrage. And so in any arbitrage situation, the first mover advantage is super critical. So if you were going to take away a few things, here are the 3 things that you should remember. Venture capital is largely guttural, at least historically, and it leads to a lot of biases, which creates great opportunities. Number 2 is that these enormous opportunities are discoverable with data and proper analytics, because disciplined structure and methodologies in venture capital is actually not the norm here. And then number 3, Moneyball investing is a way for us to produce high returns at low risk. And as a bonus, it's a way to create a more equitable funding environment. So that's a win-win for everybody.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.